President-elect William Kipchirchir Samoei Ruto appears to have finally conquered the curse of Kenya's deputy presidents that seem to have antagonized his predecessors to move a step closer to becoming the next head of state. Ruto will go down in Kenya's history as the first deputy president to clinch presidency in his first trial. He has been serving as a deputy president under President Uhuru Kenyatta since 2013 after supporting him in 2 elections. Former president, the late Daniel Moi, also rose from vice president to becoming Kenya's second president, but only after death of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, Kenya's first president in 1978. Bushebi Jr. gives us a glimpse of how Kenya's deputy presidents were affected by these jinx.
At the peak of 2017 presidential elections, Deputy President William Ruto, then under the Jubilee Party, headed by President Uhuru Kenyatta, described the opposition coalition NASA as clueless, rudderless, leaderless, and disorganized. 5 years later, nothing better describes the trajectory of his last term as deputy president, as succession politics took center stage unbridled.
Kuna wakati wa kazi na kuna wakati wa siasa. Sasa tunaingia kipindi ya siasa. Kila mtu ako na uhuru sasa.
In the last term of Jubilee government in 2022, it is a script typical of founding President Mzee Jomo Kenyatta's last years in office. What about the allegations by President Uhuru Kenyatta that his deputy Ruto had abandoned his duties, instead began early campaigns to succeed him, wield power, and pursue his own political interests, leading to a massive fallout? First president of Kenya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, took power after independence in 1963. In 1979, Daniel Moi became president after the death of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. In December 2002, Mwai Kibaki became the third president after Moi, and in April 2013, Uhuru Kenyatta, the son of Jomo Kenyatta, became the fourth president of Kenya. The Kenyattas have gone into books of history when both a father and a son became presidents 34 years apart. In the two periods, the senior and junior Kenyattas are deputized by Daniel Moi and William Ruto, respectively. The title vice president has since been replaced with deputy president. Ruto is Moi's political prodigal son. In presidential succession, the deputy president is always the focal person because he is a heartbeat away from presidency. Holders of the office are often opposed and humiliated. Kenyan history is replete with scenes of the humiliation of the deputy president since Oginga Odinga's time. Moi, Mwai Kibaki, Dr. Josephat Karanja, and Professor George Saitoti were no different, nor is Ruto. In fact, many have argued that the position is a cursed one. Until recently, Uhuru had not directly opposed his deputy's political ambitions. He tacitly did so in his public speeches, body language, and through his project Stop Ruto 2022. A deja vu of Moi's tribulations with the status elites around Jomo Kenyatta, who could not fathom how a person like Moi, without pedigree and not from the right ethnicity, could succeed Mzee. The open resistance against Ruto mirrors the very same beaten path that Moi had to endure before eventual ascension to power after Mzee's demise.
Raila Amolo Odinga,
na yeye tutatembea na yeye bega kwa bega. Mimi si project yake, hata yeye si project yangu. Tuko pamoja, tunatembea sambamba.
First term of Uhuru's regime saw Ruto at the center of government, perhaps because it was a coalition government of URP and TNA, and because Uhuru needed him for his re-election. Uhuru once handed over the instruments of power to Ruto when he headed to The Hague to attend the case against him before the International Criminal Court. The Building Bridges initiative was birthed by the 2017 handshake of Uhuru and opposition leader Raila Odinga to save a country which was falling apart after the latter swore himself in as the people's president following botched presidential election. It has achieved the purpose of taming Raila and allowing Uhuru to finish his term with less turbulence. The unclenching of fists by the two leaders and the BBI process ostensibly excluded Ruto. Apart from Jaramogi Odinga, who took on his tormentors head-on from January 1965 to April 1966 when he threw in the towel, no other vice president has staged a formidable fight to save his place as Dr. Ruto has done.
I have gone through many difficult situations, but because of God, we are here today to celebrate that today the people of Kenya have made a choice, and that choice has been confirmed by our judiciary.
It is not the first time that a vice or deputy president has found himself in a similar predicament due to succession wars. Moi's vice president Mwai Kibaki found himself restricted to his native Nyeri district, and few politicians would dare invite him to their districts. The fear among Moi's inner circle was that Mr. Kibaki was capable of building a national image and perhaps become a threat to Moi. But Kibaki faced the humiliation he went through silently and hardly raised his voice until he found out that his position as a politician was under threat during the 1988 Q voting saga. The president, in an apparent reference to William Ruto, said he will have no problem supporting him, but only in future if he reformed.
How will you respond to a contested election outcome?
This election, to the best of our knowledge and understanding, is over. We are a democratic country. We have built robust institutions that can undertake the resolution of any issue.
To the best of all Kenyans' knowledge, the curse of deputy presidency is broken. Dr. William Ruto was declared president-elect and the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya after beating Raila Odinga in August 9th presidential election.
As the president.
Piki piki ponki pakamielo disco.
The pointed irregularities and irregularities were not of such magnitude as to affect the final result of the presidential election.
The outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta has reiterated his pledge to hand over power peacefully to President William Ruto, whose election was upheld by the Supreme Court.
In the absence of any evidence of violation of the Constitution and our electoral laws, how can we upset an election in which the people are participating without hindrance, as they made their political choices pursuant to Article 38 of the Constitution? To do this would be tantamount to subjecting the sovereign will of the Kenyan people to the quorum antics of IEBC. This we cannot do. Clearly, the current dysfunctionality at the Commission impugns the state of its corporate governance, but does not affect the conduct of the 2022 election.
The presidential succession in Kenya is coincidentally a family business that Kenyans are unwittingly drawn into, and family altars speak through spirituality, fermenting into physical manifestations experienced by 5 senses of Kenyans. For Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, I'm Busha Bejonia.